In Lesson 4.1, Day 1, Examples 1 through 4, you will be writing and graphing equations in slope-intercept form. Back in Chapter 3, we learned about standard form of linear equations. In Chapter 4, our focus is going to be on the slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form of an equation is y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, and b is the y-intercept, or where it crosses the y-axis. In example 1, it says write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line with a slope of 3/4 and a y-intercept of -2. Then graph the equation. So if I wanted to write this in slope-intercept form, that's going to be y equals mx plus b. We are going to put the slope of 3/4 in the place of m. And then in place of b, since it's -2, we're going to write -2. If it were a +2, we'd write +2. Now to graph it, it's similar to when we were graphing direct variations, but these do not go through 0, 0 necessarily. This one goes through the y-axis at -2. So we're going to start out by plotting the y-intercept, which is -2. And then from that point, you're going to keep your pencil right there. From that point, you're going to use the slope, which is 3/4, and you are going to find another point by you're going to use rise over run. So we're going to rise 3 from that y-intercept, and we're going to run 4. Now technically you only need those 2 points to make your line, but in order to help make the line a little more accurate, I'm going to go ahead and find another point. I'm going to rise 3 again and run 4. Now I'm going to connect those points with a straight line. There, that's a little better. And make sure to put the arrows on the ends. All right, you may want to pause the video and try the next one on your own. If I want to write this equation in slope-intercept form, it's going to be y equals m, which is the slope, x plus b. In this case, the y-intercept is 3, so plus 3. Now the first step is to plot the y-intercept. Since it's a +3, I'm going to go up from the origin 3 units and put a point. And now since the slope is -1/2, I'm going to fall 1 and run 2. Remember, for a negative slope, you only move in a negative direction once. If you move in a negative direction twice, you will actually end up graphing a positive slope. So down 1 and to the right 2, down 1 to the right 2. Go ahead and connect that with a line. Arrows on the ends. Now example 2, they give you an equation, but it's not in slope-intercept form. So what we're going to do is we're going to rearrange that equation, sort of like we did in Chapter 3 to get an equation into standard form. But this time instead, we're going to get it into slope-intercept form. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So rather than getting the x and the y on the same side like it is now, we want to get the y by itself. To get y by itself, I want to move this 3x to the other side by subtracting 3x from both sides. Or if you cross the line, you change the sign. So I'm going to go ahead and write 2y on the left. Now on the right, Since I want it in this form, I'm going to put the x term first. And when I move this 3x over, it becomes negative 3x. And then this is a positive 6. Now we have one thing left to do to get it into this form. We don't want 2y, we want just 1y. So I'm going to divide the left side by 2, and I'm going to divide everything over here by 2 as well. So 2 divided by 2, or 2y divided by 2 is just y. Now over here, negative 3x divided by 2, I'm going to just write that like this as negative 3 halves x. I'm going to just leave it as a fraction because graphing with the slope as a fraction is actually very easy. And then we have a positive 6 divided by 2. Positive 6 divided by 2 is 3. So in slope-intercept form, we have y equals negative 3 halves x plus 3, which means we're going to go up to 3 on the y-axis, because that's my y-intercept, it's 3. And then since the slope is negative 3 halves, we're not going to rise 3, we're going to fall 3 and run 2. Again, only go in a negative direction once for a negative slope. So down 3, to the right 2. Down 3, to the right 2. I'm going to go ahead and connect those with a line. All right, let's go ahead and try this next one. You may want to pause it and try it on your own. Again, we want to get y by itself, so I'm going to move this 3x to the other side. And if you cross the line, you change the sign. Over here on the left, I'm left with a negative 4y equals, now this 3x that I moved over is going to be a negative 3x. And then this is a positive 12, so plus 12. Now in order to get this to be 1y, I have to divide by negative 4. And I have to divide everything over here by negative 4. We can do it like I did over here and just show the whole thing being divided by negative 4. Or sometimes I like to write it on each term so then I can simplify it. This is going to be y. Over here, a negative divided by a negative is actually positive. So this is going to be 3/4 x is how we will write that. And then a positive 12 divided by a negative 4 is negative 3, so it's minus 3. Now the y-intercept is negative 3. So we put a point on the y-axis at negative 3. And then the slope is positive 3/4. So we're going to rise 3 and run 4. Remember, when we're talking about slope, it's rise over run. Rise 3, run 4. Go ahead and connect those with a line. All right, example 3. We've had ones like this before where it's just y equals, and we talked about what that looks like. We did it by making a table earlier. This time let's do it by thinking about this in slope-intercept form. Y equals negative 3 is really y equals 0x minus 3. And if it were this, our y-intercept is negative 3. So we go down 3 on the y-axis, and then the slope is 0. Remember, remember slope guy or slope dude? This is 0 fun. When he's skiing on a flat surface like that, that is 0 fun. That's what a slope of 0 looks like. So there's the equation y equals negative 3. Now the last example, which of the following is an equation in slope-intercept form for the line shown? This is a good example of something you might see on an MCA test in the future. One thing you can do is see if there's any choices you can eliminate. First of all, when I look at the line, it's going downhill, so I know it's going to be a negative slope. So I would look at all of these slopes, and they are all negative, so I can't get rid of any choices there. but I can see that it crosses the y-axis at 1. So the y-intercept is 1, which means it can't be this choice and it can't be this choice. It has to be either A or C. So now let's look for two nice points on the line. There's another nice one right there. And if we look at rise over run, in this case, we're not going to rise, we're going to fall. So it's going to be negative. We're going to fall 1, and we are going to run 3. So the slope is negative 1/3, which means the answer is going to be choice C.